As a Welshman that lived in the US for 6 years, ladies and gents, when I first moved from Wales to America, I moved to Southern Maryland, rural Southern Maryland, if you can believe it. And I got to travel around to 43 of the US states as well. So I'm well traveled within the US. Here are things, in my opinion, that Americans take for granted, but are now rediscovering because of Freddie, the German tourist, and other Europeans who are coming to the US and bringing them to light. Number one, air conditioning. Now, I bought this air conditioning unit because I understand the benefits, and the cost outweighs the miserable days where in the UK, when we get a heat wave like we are this week, it's going to be hitting about 37, 38 degrees Celsius in certain parts, which is pushing 90 to 100 Fahrenheit for you Americans. But there's air conditioning literally everywhere in the US. Granted, there are some older buildings that do not have air conditioning, some houses, I understand that, but the majority of commercial buildings have air conditioning. Another favourite of mine is the sheer size of the roads. I missed my pickup truck that I had, couldn't bring it back to the UK purely because it wouldn't work on most single lane country roads here in Wales in particular. But you literally do not have an issue with roads in the US. Any size vehicle, spatial awareness goes out the windows because you don't need to worry about it. Happy days. Number three, massive grocery stores. Now, personally, I think some British stores are actually better than the US, but the sheer size of them, like the amount of square footage that BJ's, for example, or Safeway or Walmart, super Walmarts cover is absolutely mental. They are like indoor shopping centres over here in the UK. And they can range from your budgets right the way up to the premiums. And they literally have everything that you could ever need. Another one that I think a lot of Americans take for granted are simply the uniqueness of the cities. The amount of people who I spoke to, right? Because as a Welshman that moved to the US, I wanted to see as much of the US as that I could. So whenever I would go into Washington, DC, whenever I would go into Baltimore or travel up to New York, or I'd visit other large cities, Seattle, LA, San Diego, Tampa, Miami, Vegas, and just other bigger cities within that region, obviously all the hot spots. Like, a lot of Americans don't go there because they're like, oh, I live so close, I'll just go another time. But then another time never comes. Like, you live that close to New York, like I would be there every single day. But then I'd probably maybe get bored of it. But whenever I see the New York City skyline, I'm like, yes. Number five, national parks. There are so many national parks in the US that I think a lot of Americans just simply take for granted. And I think that's vastly because there's a lot of people who live in the cities, and getting out to those national parks is sometimes quite challenging. But some of the national parks in the US are simply incredible. And I think another one of my favourites, so last but not least, is probably the refills. When you go out for a meal, just simply the refills on restaurants. Like my favourite restaurant, Red Robin, or Outback, for example, or other just restaurants in general, they'll keep bringing you free drinks of refills of what you have. Obviously not alcoholic, but if you get a fountain drink, you'll just be brought endless fountain drinks whenever you run out. It's great. Very difficult to come across here in the UK and in Europe.